All right, guys, so I want to explain to you why your injury rehab training, your strength and conditioning work, your physiotherapy, physical therapy training isn't working for you right now. You know, you've been working with said health professionals for the last couple of months, last couple of years potentially. These are the conversations we have on a regular basis where individuals have invested time, money into having professional conversations, but yet the approach that's being given to them is very much kind of too focused on the hotspot, the symptom of their issue, and not actually and not stepping back and actually looking at the systemic problem that is at hand. Now, potentially, the methods that you're following are very one-dimensional. You're just looking at a series of single exercises and then which are kind of being given to you on a piece of paper. Hopefully, maybe given to you on in a PDF format, maybe with some exercise tutorial videos alongside it. But again, this approach, it's very one-dimensional, guys, and it's archaic in its practice. Like, this is the sort of thing that we were doing 20, 30, 40 years ago, and it's still being replicated right now. You know, we've got people out there who are struggling with injury, and this is maybe you who's listening right now, where you've gone through this yourself. You've literally been looking at a piece of paper, and I was speaking with someone last week who literally screenshot this piece of paper that I've been working from for the last 6 months, and it has those classic exercises of clams, single leg glute bridges, of band work, of body weight kind of isometric holds, and etc., etc. But this individual, and again, this is going to echo similarly to what you're looking for. This individual wants to get back to running. Like, they want to get back onto the trails. They want to get back on their bike. They are looking to get back into a very active lifestyle, but yet the tendinopathy that they're dealing with, the reoccurring knee pain, hamstring tendinopathy, the low back pain that they're dealing with, it's being treated with this kind of hotspot, kind of focused approach where you're just being given exercises around that said area. Now, don't get me wrong, if you've had significant trauma and there's obvious damage to that tissue in and around that area, then yeah, of course, it's going to be well warranted that you need to be working on developing, reintroducing kind of the conditioning and the strength and the stability of those key joints. Got to rebuild the strength and conditioning of those key muscle groups. But most, and I can say that with quite a lot of conviction, is the most endurance-based injuries are based around overtraining. They're based around a compounding series of variables, which you're asking the body to do too much with too little. You're simply overloading certain areas of your body, whether it's in the foot, in the ankle, in the calf, in the shin, in the knee, in the hip, in the back. You're overcompensating. You're putting too much work when you don't have enough. You don't have enough to work with, and so it's more a systemic approach. Like, you need to be thinking about how can we start to navigate and move away from this kind of archaic practice. Well, guys, it's about having this kind of more of a comprehensive view towards your strength conditioning work, towards your training approach. This is how we kind of move past these injury cycles, and getting out, the kind of stopping the rot of kind of feeling like you're doing all the right strength work, you're doing all the right rehab work, but yet you're still injured. Well, it's because you're not being challenged comprehensively. You know, when we work with anyone who's got a foot issue, an ankle issue, and shin issue, a knee issue, a hip issue, list goes on, we're going to look at that area and go, actually, a lot of the time, nothing to do with that. I can't tell you how many people we've helped through knee pain this year and through plantar fascial issues and Achilles issues. And we haven't done any type of foot, ankle work, or we haven't done any sort of knee specific work. What we've done is we've looked at the other major muscle groups that support those structures. We've looked at the way they load and the way they land and the way they kind of propriocept and the way they coordinate themselves through big range of motion. Lo and behold, a lot of people struggle to move confidently left leg versus right leg. They struggle to showcase great levels of conditioning through these major muscle groups, through their posterior chain, their hamstrings, their glutes. These are the big heavy hitters. Like, these are the areas that, you know, we're taking the focus off the site of pain. Okay, I respect the fact that you're in pain through your knee, but the answer to getting past that knee pain is probably because you lack significant level of conditioning for your age, for the intensities that you want to train at, through your hamstrings, through your glutes, through your pelvis. Not only do you lack strength conditioning through your hamstring, through your glutes, etc., you can't even, you have no confidence in landing and in jumping and in producing force and absorbing force through those legs. Get those in order, and time again, you see people's symptoms dissipate from those sites of pain. But it's the problem is, guys, is because we have designed these health professionals and the education from the top down. The educational institutions have designed them to be all very much about diagnosis. About that said pain needs to be treated with said injury, with said exercise, with said surgery, with surgical intervention, with said drug. That this is the world we're living in. But most people are becoming more aware of actually it's an accumulation of things that we need to be considering. That actually, I may not need surgery, I may not need drugs, I may not need injections, etc. Actually, the problem I'm having is that I'm just simply, my body, I'm putting too much work through my body too often, and I'm not strong enough. I don't have enough conditioning, I don't have enough experience, and my body hasn't tolerated enough work yet. What do I need to be doing to improve this situation? This is this athletic mindset you've got to have, where you're starting to think more around high performance training. You may not want to be an elite runner, an elite triathlete, an elite skier, rider, whatever, but you do want to perform consistently well, pain-free for the long term. To do that, we've got to have better behaviours and better understanding around how we manage pain, how we deal with injury. You've got to get out of this head funk around focusing on the symptom. Too many people are spending their time focusing on god-awful calf raises and, again, isometric holds and band exercises and clams. One-dimensional approach to your rehab, to your strength and conditioning. Single leg squats, split squats, back squats, deadlifts. Again, same mindset where you're thinking one-dimensionally. I'm going to solve said problem by doing said exercise no, it's never going to be the case. Like, every single result that we get from people who are in pain and get them back to performance, yeah, we give them exercises, but then we're also looking at their lifestyle. We're looking at the way they fuel themselves, the way they recover. We're looking at the way their training integrates into their lifestyle. Are they overtraining? Are they under recovering? Are they under fueling? Physiologically, are there blood markers in their boots? Are there hormones in their boots? Like, these are the reasons why a lot of people are struggling with long-term tendinopathies, because you're going through the menopause. You don't have as much. Your hormonal health is not great. It needs to. What can we be doing to improve that? These are the conversations you should be having. You haven't had a menstrual cycle in 10, 15 years. Are you going to be more prone to injury? Probably. Because if you are someone who is very, very lean, who's training high volumes of training, you are going to be exposing your body to incredible amounts of stress and strain. We need to be making sure that you are hormonally and physiologically in a healthy place. If not, you are going to be more prone to injury. If you're someone who's had previous injury, who's played a lot of other sports, who's then coming into these sports, like into these endurance sports where you're on the bike more, you're running a lot more, you're swimming a lot more, whatever that kind of one-dimensional specific activities are you coming from a balanced place physically? Understanding that the biomechanics of your entire body will have an impact on the way you perform, and that as you place more and more high volume training into your body is, as it fatigues, as it becomes more, as it starts to wear down over the duration, over the intensities that you're working at, where are you going to compensate? Where are those imbalances going to start to creep in? Where are you going to lose efficiency, lose position on the bike, on the run, etc., in the water? This is the mindset you want to be having. But you can understand, guys, it's more of a comprehensive view. It requires experience. It requires a team. Like, we strip back all the bullshit. Whenever we work with someone, we're not just going to look at how they land on that foot, how they flex through that knee. We're not going to test the length of their quadriceps or their Thomas test, etc. We're going to look at the way they land, the way they kind of propriocept. We're going to look at the way they run, look at the way they ride, look at the way they walk. We're also going to look at the way they train, the way they live their life, the training history they've had in leading up to this point, looking at the injury history leading up to this point. What are the contributing factors to this moment in time that have led to this injury? Because a lot of the time, there are huge reasons as to why you're in the place you're in right now. And a lot of it is the compounding reasons of overtraining. You're trying to do too much with too little. As a health professional in this day and age, you need to understand how to manage someone's training program. If you're giving advice around how potentially they can mitigate injury in the future, What is their relationship with training? What is their relationship with nutrition? What is their relationship with recovery? You don't need to be an expert in this. You just need to have an understanding of this. Even as someone who isn't a health professional, you just want to run more, ride more, swim more. You just want to be an active person. It's still your responsibility to have a better understanding of this type of stuff. It will empower you to never have to, or to be able to pivot, so you never have to deal with these long-term setbacks. We're all going to be exposed to injury at time in our life. We're all going to have health setbacks in our life. How you pivot will be based upon your level of education, your level of understanding around all of these areas. Again, this hot spotting, this basing your training around a symptom of the injury, of the pain, of the weakness that you're currently exhibiting. You know that you've got to work on your glutes, so you've got to go away and just do glute training. Absurd. Like, our bodies work in synergy with yourself. We've got to be working on your entire posterior chain. You've got to be working on the way you land, the way you run, the way you ride, the way you swim, the way you walk, the way you load your body in multiple different planes of motion. Why? Because we don't work in isolation. Nothing works in isolation. Human beings are amazing. But I just want to help everyone that's listening, everyone's watching, is come away from this mindset of hot spotting. And a lot of you guys will be all over this. You'll be like, yeah, totally understand, Kriss, totally get it. But it's coming from experience, guys. I speak to people like yourselves every single week. Our team are working through navigating these types of mindsets and problems daily, weekly. And when you've got people who are going through multiple physio appointments with multiple different physio practices, we're working with physical therapists, with doctors and surgeons and consultants who are still having this one-dimensional approach to how they're going to help you. It's because they haven't expanded their vision to go, actually, this person has high expectations of their body. They got a highly active lifestyle, and actually the way they're training and living their life is compounded into this place, into this position where we need to be overlooking everything. This is why we have physios on our team, because we want to make sure that what we're dealing with is what we're talking about here, and there's nothing sinister going on. There isn't obviously anything significantly that needs to be kind of treated. If so, then obviously that's managed. But essentially, guys, a lot of the time it's just poor training error. There's poor training practices going on. This can all be pivoted. Thinking of your rehab, your strength and conditioning work, the way you are training as a whole. Step back. Look at the way your training has led up to this point. Look at your way you recover, the way what sort of strength conditioning, the purpose of your strength conditioning. What sort of direction are you moving in with that? Like, are you aware of what areas you really need to be working on? With your nutrition, are you on top of that? Like, do you know that how much you need to be fueling to make sure that you have good energy availability? Are you aware of your blood markers, your hormonal status right now? Your relationship with training in general. Is it the ultimate stress relief? Is it something that you leverage on a daily basis to manage your bandwidth, your mindset? Is that a sustainable approach? Is that something that you potentially need a bit more strategy around periodizing your approach to your training so that you can maintain your levels of health? But these are all compounding reasons as to why so many people struggle with injury and never see the benefits of their strength and conditioning work, their injury rehab work, because again, it's all in isolation. It's very focused on just the symptom, when the problem is more systemic. And it's just the fact you haven't been made aware of these other areas of your training. But as soon as you do, you notice that these symptoms start to dissipate. The pain starts to recede. Why? There's no magic. There's nothing magic about it. It's more the fact we're just taking the emphasis off that area by giving you more strength and conditioning in those other major muscle groups. We've adjusted the training load in and around your training program, your lifestyle, so you're not overloading your body, and you've built up your strength and conditioning alongside it. We've adjusted your training volume. We've improved your recovery. You're fueling better. You've got a better mindset around your entire approach to your training. Lo and behold, you're in that place where you can actually manage your own injuries. You're empowered to understand, like, okay, what are the variables the factors that I've been dropping recently? What do I need to be doing more of to make sure I don't pick up that injury again? It's not just keep going back to those blinking exercises that worked for you in a short term, but are now starting to come back. Get over these symptoms long term, but it's this comprehensive approach that's really going to solve the issues long term, guys. So again, food for thought. As always, love to hear your thoughts on this, guys. Speak soon.